Hi, today, just in time for your first speech, I am going to be going over delivery. So, first, I'm going to talk about the different types of delivery that the book goes over, and then I am going to give you some tips, which I hope you will find useful as you go into your first speech before wrapping things up. The four types of delivery that are mentioned in your book are manuscript, memorized, impromptu, and extemporaneous. Manuscript is just being able to give your speech reading from a manuscript or a teleprompter in 2018. Memorize is exactly how it sounds, where somebody has the mental capacity to memorize their entire speech, which is impressive. Impromptu is, and I'm sure many of you have heard this before, or of impromptu speeches. And impromptu is just getting a speech topic and then not having much time to prepare, and then you have to give a speech on it. And then extemporaneous, which is what we will be doing in this class, is when you do have speaking notes or main points. So you have some time to prepare your ideas in advance, but then you do speak freely from them. And it's important to know how to extemporaneously speak, because as you move forward in your life and careers, this is going to be the most common type of speaking you're going to do. You're not going to be able to use a manuscript. It's going to be very difficult to memorize a script, and usually you aren't going to be asked to do some sort of impromptu speaking opportunity. Sometimes you may have to say a few words in front of a group, but it's going to be most likely that you'll extemporaneously speak, where you'll prepare for maybe a presentation at work ahead of time, and you'll have a PowerPoint or a couple of note cards that you can use, but you'll be expected to be knowledgeable about a topic. So in this class, we're extemporaneously speaking, which means that if you are trying to speak from a manuscript or read directly from your speaking notes, you will be dinged for that. I want to see that you prepared in advance, that your speaking notes include just your main ideas, and that you practiced, which is very important. So now I'm going to go over a few delivery tips. These will be helpful for your speech grade and the rubric, but these also hopefully will make you feel better and feel more prepared to give a speech in front of an audience. The first tip is to dress professionally. If you look good, you are going to feel good, so that is very important. It's also important because it is a component of your speech grade. My expectation is casual, business casual is what I call it. So jeans and a nice t-shirt is fine. I always love it when students are a little bit more dressed up even than that. However, I understand that you don't all own suits and ties and fancy dresses, so please don't feel like you need to get that dressed up. You're always more than welcome to ask me if what you're going to be wearing is okay. And I do want to say that an audience will always appreciate if you are dressed up more than them. There's a reason that most of the times your teachers should be starting off the semester dressed a little bit nicer, because they want you to know that they are credible and they should be speaking. And so that same rule applies here. So dress professionally. Know your nervous mannerisms. Know if you are somebody who shifts. Maybe you shift back and forth when you're talking in front of a group, or maybe you tend to get sweaty or shaky, or you use filler words such as like or which is something I tend to do. Just know what those are so you can mentally tell yourself, while you're speaking, if you catch yourself, don't do those things. And if you don't know what those are yet, this is why it's really important to practice in front of an audience or in front of a video camera, is so that you can figure those things out. Because you might not know that you say every other sentence, but the audience will, and I will pick it up as well. Make sure that you're making eye contact, not looking up or down when you're giving a speech, but you're engaging with the entire audience, and that you are looking around the room. And not just locking eyes with one person. So again, this is something you can take a mental note of, to look to the left, look in the middle, and look in the right every once in a while, so that you're spanning the whole room and you're engaging and bringing everybody in and making everybody feel like you're talking to them. Slow down when you are giving a speech. This is something I also struggle with. Slowing down is going to help you enunciate your words a little bit better. It's going to help you stay on topic, and it's going to potentially keep you from messing up, because I know that when I start to talk very quickly, I tend to mess things up much more quickly. Something in the discussion that people were concerned about is being monotone. So just remember your vocal variation, and this may depend on the type of speech that you're giving. You should practice your speech so you know where you'll land in your speech and need to use vocal variation within your speech. But think about that as well. Listen to other people speaking, and just be aware that it is something that I'll be looking for when you are talking, and slowing down, smiling maybe when you speak if you're talking about a happier topic can help you with that vocal variation. And then the last thing that I want to remind you is pausing for effect. You don't want to overuse this, and you don't want to take super long pauses, because pauses can be really awkward, like that one just was right there. But utilize them. They're a great way for you to hit a note within your speech, and they're also a really great way for you to just take a break from talking for a second. So again, coming with practice, you'll know some really good areas in your speech that you can take a pause. Again, it gives you a time to just take a break, swallow and think for a moment, and then it also gives the audience an opportunity to really take in what you've been saying to them. Obviously, I can't hit enough how much you should practice, and how much you should practice in front of a camera and in front of an audience, but really, especially in this class, in front of both an audience and a camera, if you can, ahead of actually giving your speeches. Again, I know I've said it before, but I definitely present differently in front of a camera than I do even just in front of an audience. Cameras make me more nervous. They feel like there are 30 more people instead of only 8 people in the room. My mannerisms change. I just tend to get more nervous. So make sure that you are practicing both in front of a camera, even if you don't have it turned on. I would recommend it, but maybe you don't want to waste your memory. But do practice in front of a camera so you know what that is going to feel like. And I just want to leave you with one final tip, which is to write yourself a note on your speaking notes, specifically when it comes to delivery. It's completely fine and very helpful to write on the speaking notes that you'll be using for the next couple of speeches, to write, don't say, or to tell yourself to look up and look around the room. Those are really useful. It's hard to keep everything in your brain when you're standing up in front of an audience. So just put a little note on top of each note card saying whatever you need to do to get through the delivery and get through that speech. It's completely fine. It's something that I do. It's something I've seen other students do with success in the past. So think about that moving forward. If you do have any specific questions about delivery, please feel free to reach out and ask me to provide more details for you. Or if you're wondering, I think I covered what I'm looking for, but if you want more in-depth information, I'm always happy to help you. And please utilize the presentation center, because you're going to get that audience and that camera practice. And for speeches 2 through 4, there will be extra credit opportunities for using the presentation center. So keep that in mind, and good luck with your practice. Thanks.